and welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. Joining us as our animal wrangler is Tammy Benson, one of our devoted volunteers here at the shelter. Our first guest is Eliza, and as you might have noticed, she already discovered where the treats are hidden. She is a 1-year-old pit bull mix who came to us as a stray, so we named her Eliza. She is a year old, so she might get a little bit bigger, but not much, and she definitely has that kind of forever puppy look to her. She's just super cute. She's weighing in at about 48 pounds, so she might get, 50, 55-ish. I don't envision her getting too much bigger. She, as I mentioned, came to us as a stray, so we're still learning about Eliza and kind of what she likes, what she doesn't like. She seems to enjoy toys, and she's a little nosy. She wants to explore everything, sniff everything. We have behavior assessed her, as we do with all of our animals when they come in. We found that she's actually pretty good about keeping her kennel clean. However, we never want people to assume that the animals that they get from us, especially the dogs, are house trained. So you're going to have to put some time into kind of retraining Eliza to your schedule and your routine and your cue words for going outside and things of that nature. We've noticed that she's very friendly. She's excited when you approach the kennel. She can be a little unsure of other dogs, but for the most part, she has favorable reactions to them. She can be difficult to walk because she's a little nervous. She gets a little bit overwhelmed, and then she can pull a bit, and she can also be mouthy when you're putting her back into the kennel. So those are kind of things that are puppy things. She just needs to be a little bit more socialized, not only with other people, but with other dogs. She needs to learn what's appropriate to put her mouth on, and just a little bit of proper polite leash walking. She doesn't have issues with food aggression. She will give up objects reluctantly when asked, because as we mentioned earlier, she really enjoys a good toy. She likes to be petted. She's just has a lot of energy because she's a younger dog and she's a high energy breed, but she has a great smile. She has a lot of potential. She just needs someone to lavish her with love and help her kind of become a good canine citizen. Our next guests are familiar faces. We have Iris and Jinx back on the show. They are Jinx. Jinx has a lot to say about the matter. They are some shelter favorites. They are a unique pair, and they have the best personalities, and they are two of our senior dogs. Jinx here is a Min Pin mix, and he is 5 years old, and he has a pretty severe underbite, but it just adds to his character. And he is your typical annoying little brother, basically. He's the one that's gonna pick on you. He's kind of has a little bit more energy, really loves to play with toys, likes to hide his toys from Iris. But at the end of the day, he truly loves Iris. Iris is a hound mix. She's about 8 years old, and she thinks that she's a lap dog. She's a little big for it, but she makes it work. Jinx also likes to cuddle. He likes to be picked up, and he likes to nuzzle and things like that. Iris is much calmer than Jinx, but she loves to play and run just as much as he does. But when she's over his antics, she definitely puts him in his place like any big sister would. Iris does have an old injury in her front right leg. That doesn't hold her back. She moves around and is capable of doing anything that she wants to do. She runs, chases Jinx around, but she does get tired a little bit quicker because she's putting a little bit more pressure on her other limbs. So when you're out walking her and things like that, she just has to take a little bit more break time along the way. But they both don't really behave like seniors. They love to play. They love to play together. They love to play separately. They are just a lot of fun. Because they are seniors, they get $20 off each for being over the age of 5, and they also get another $20 off since you have to take both of them. They are a pair, and then you get another $20 off because they're a Colonial Jewelers Diamond in the rough this month. So in addition to all of the, the love that you're going to get from taking these guys home, there's a little bit of financial assistance there with their discounts to provide for their medical care. This handsome guy is Simba, and he's another one of our pit bull mixes that we have on the adoption floor right now. He's about a year old, and he is one of the animals that we've suggested go to a home with older children or adults only. We say, when we say older children for Simba, we're really talking about kids that are about 10 and up. And it's not because he's aggressive in nature or anything like that. It's because he gets so excited that he wants to kind of roll into you and throw himself into your lap and things like that. And a younger child, we are just afraid that he would knock them over and hurt them. So it's not that he's an aggressive dog, it's just that he has an energy level to him and maybe doesn't know his own strength. So we're trying to prevent any potential accidents from happening. Otherwise, he keeps his kennel pretty clean. He loves toys, but he's great at trading. He loves tug. One of the things that he does need to learn, much like Eliza, is how to be careful with his mouth. He can be a little grabby. So those are things that puppies need to learn. And at a year old, he's basically still a lot of puppy. So just learning the appropriate what is too hard to when you're doing stuff like that. You shouldn't put your mouth on people's hands. You should only have toys and things like that. So a little effort there. He loves attention. He loves pets, but he will throw himself into your lap, against your legs, things like that. His reactions to other dogs, it really with him depends on the dog. There are dogs that he likes and is interested in. There are other dogs where he is not a fan of and will let you know. As far as walking him, he is a little bit of a goofball, and he's bouncy and can be difficult in that regard. Just a little bit of work as far as training to get him to learn how to politely walk on a leash will go a long way for him. But otherwise, he's just a fun, goofy guy, and he just needs someone who understands that and is willing to give him the outlets for his energy. Lots of outside time, running and playing, lots of playtime with toys, and training always really helps. A little bit of structure goes a long way. Just getting them in a nice routine and things of that nature. Our next guest is one of our senior dogs. This is Sasha, and she is a 9-year-old boxer, and she is also one of our blue color-coded dogs, which is quite rare actually, but in recent weeks we've been having quite a few of them. They tend to be older dogs. Blue is just kind of calm, cool, collected. They're the ones that have the better manners. They're not as crazy, like running all over the place. They adjust well to new environments. They are more apt to maybe be a lap dog, as we're seeing with Sasha. Iris, who was also on the show today, is also a blue card, and as you saw, she hopped right into Tammy's lap. Sasha, as an older dog, does have some things health-wise that need to be taken into consideration. She will likely need a dental, so she'll have to get her teeth cleaned. She does have a low-grade heart murmur. She has a little bit of a lump on her abdomen, which will need to be watched and things like that. But otherwise, she's in, for her age, pretty good health. I mean, as we all age, we all have little things that creep up that we need to take care of, and it's just important to make sure that your animal of any age is getting proper veterinary care. But as they do get older, it is going to be more important, and it can be a little bit more of an expense. So if you're thinking about adopting an older animal, you just want to make sure that you're prepared for any potential veterinary bills that might creep up. Sasha, at 9 years old, is not yet spayed. We will make sure that she is spayed before she leaves. We make sure all of our cats, dogs, and rabbits, and the occasional pig and goat are altered before they leave here for their new homes. Sasha was brought to us because of her owner's health. She's previously lived with both cats and dogs, even a small dog, a Yorkie. She's been around children as young as 1, and the oldest was about 10, so she'll do well in any home. They say that she likes to chase things. She's house trained and crate trained. They say that she rides well in the car. She walks nicely on leash, but she still has a little bit of spunk. She likes to chase things. She likes to jump on some stuff. So you definitely don't want to discount her because of her age. She still has energy, and she still enjoys, hanging out, wanting love, attention, and a little bit of playtime. Your little smushy face. The last dog that we have for you today is Cairo, and he is another handsome guy. He's got the cutest blue brindle and white fur. He's just so handsome. He's an older guy at 10 years old, which makes him go home for a $40 reduction in his adoption fee. So instead of the normal $92.50, he would be $52.50. Now, that doesn't mean that he's worth any less, but older dogs can be overlooked sometimes, and they can have some more medical expenses. So that reduction in the adoption fee that you get, that money can go towards other things like any medical care that he might require. Cairo is a little bit overweight, much like Max, our other older dog that we had on the show last week. A little bit of a diet would be beneficial for him, so getting him out and letting him run and play, which is, the great thing about that is that apparently he enjoys that. So, that'll make it a little bit easier to get him out. One of the things that we want to make sure anybody that's looking at Cairo is aware of is that he does have a skin issue. So he has a skin infection that we are currently treating. That's probably a result of some sort of allergy that's creating some dermatitis there. So when you pet him, it's going to be a little rough, a little scabby, but that's something that we are working on diagnosing the exact cause, and we're going to work to treat, and any information that we have, we'll be able to pass on to you. So we've changed the things that we're cleaning his kennel with. It could be a reaction to food, it could be environmental, it could be something that he's coming into contact with, but he did come in this way. So we're working on figuring that out. He also has some hair loss as a result of that, but all of that stuff is kind of external. And he inside is just a beautiful, beautiful dog with a great personality and spirit. Because he is an older dog and can be a little bit sensitive and has some sore spots, we've recommended that he go to a home where the children are 6 and up, just so that they have more of an understanding of how to be gentle with an animal, how to respect an animal's space. We don't want them crawling on him, sitting on him, trying to ride him, those types of things, pulling his ears and tail, because he did have an ear infection as well. So those are just going to be important things to make sure that Cairo is going to go to a home where he's not constantly worried about someone bugging him and things of that nature. If you're not really a dog person and you're more in the market for a cat, stay tuned after the break. We'll introduce you to some of the felines that are available for adoption and go over a great new promo that we have going on just for those felines.
Catoctin Creek Nature Center is excited to offer field trips year-round for public, private, and homeschooled students from pre-K through high school. A hands-on experience will allow students to discover and explore the wildlife in the Piedmont region of Maryland. Topics will include Catoctin Creek critters, investigating insects, and seasons of change. Having fun, exploring, and educating are the components that make Catoctin Creek Nature Center such an excellent resource for outdoor education. For more information or to schedule a field trip, please call our main office at 301-600-2936 or visit us on the web at www.recreator.com.
Welcome back. We mentioned before the break that we have a promotion going on and for our cats, and we do. And I'm going to mention that to you a little bit later because it doesn't apply for our kittens, and our first guests are kittens. These guys have been on our adoption floor for a month and a half, 2 months, so they're growing up here at the shelter, and we want to get them into nice, loving homes. These guys came in with 2 sisters. Their sisters, Tsunami and Nimbus, have since been adopted, but the twin boys here are still left. So Tammy has Gale, and then over here with me is Sleet, and all these kittens were named after weather terms. A lot of times with our litters of kittens, we give them theme names, and these guys ended up with some names that are kind of fitting, given the dark kind of rainy weather that we've been having lately. They can be a little bit on the shyer side as far as kittens go, but they're definitely not the shyest. They were in a foster home, so they were socialized, but it's just new, strange places can be a little bit unnerving for them. So what I did with Sleet was I actually kind of covered him up a little bit, and swaddling a cat or a dog can have the same effect as swaddling a baby. It can be really calming for them. So if you ever are having issues with your cat or your dog for that matter, just being a little nervous, anxious, you can always try wrapping them up in a towel or a blanket and seeing how that goes for you. All of our kittens under the age of 8 months old will still be adopted for our standard $97.50 adoption fee. That covers their neuters and spays while they're with us, their rabies vaccines, distemper vaccines, microchipping, county licenses, dewormer, flea and tick preventative, well visit to the vet. So you really can't beat the price and what you're getting for that price. You're going to get an animal that you know has been vet checked and to the best of our knowledge is in good health when you take it home. These guys are not a bonded pair. They don't have to be adopted together, although they enjoy each other's company. They live in the same cage. They play together. They can cuddle together, but kittens, just because they're in with one another, never have to be adopted together unless it's stated on their cage and their kennel cards. If you were to adopt both of these guys, then you could get a $20 reduction in your total adoption fee for taking 2. Our next guests are a bonded pair. Previously we had Sleet and Gale, who live together, enjoy each other's company, but could be adopted separately. Rupert and Marty actually have to be adopted together. They are a bonded pair, and these guys do qualify for our awesome fall promo. So from now until October 31st, all of our cats that are 8 months old or older, so that means an 8-month-old kitten all the way up to the oldest cat on our adoption floor right now, which is Rupert at 12. All of those guys will be going home for an adoption fee of just $15.50. You still get all of the same stuff that you would normally get at $97.50, but for right now, because we have a large cat population and we want to get as many of them into homes as possible, our adoption fee has been reduced to that $15.50. That covers the things that are required by law, so your rabies vaccination and your county license. So back to the important matters at hand. the stars of our show here, Rupert and Marty. They are a senior bonded pair. So Rupert, as I mentioned, is 12, and he's easy to identify because he has a little mustache, which is fitting because he's a little boy. And then Marty here is a girl, and she is 9 years old, and she has a white dot on her nose. Both of these guys are technically considered overweight, although when I picked them up, I didn't realize how big Marty actually was. She probably needs a little diet a little bit more than Rupert does. Rupert's a little bit calmer, a little bit more relaxed, whereas she's a little bit more nervous and kind of seems to rely on him a little bit more. These guys are unfortunately declawed. Rupert is just declawed in the front, but poor Marty here is declawed on all 4 of her feet. We do not advocate declawing here. It is something that is painful for the animals. It's not just a trim of the nails, it's an amputation of their digits on what on a human would be down to that first knuckle. So Marty had 20 separate little amputations, and that's not something that we are going to advocate ever. So if you are interested in a cat that's already declawed, or you want a cat that's declawed, we just encourage you to adopt a cat that's already had that done instead of going out and doing it to another animal. We do have several cats on our adoption floor right now who are already declawed if that's something that you're interested in. I'm amazed that our next guest is still here. Usually Siamese cats just fly right out of here, but for whatever reason, Agnes is hanging out, which is really unusual because she's a blue card, which means that she really is very calm, she's very affectionate, she's very easygoing. She wants to get down and explore in here because we're in a new space, but when she's out on the adoption floor, she just wants to sit in laps, and volunteers tell me all the time that she doesn't want to get down. And she's got that kind of exotic look to her. So I can't imagine why someone hasn't made her part of their family yet. But that just means that she's here for one of you guys out there watching. Agnes is a Seal Point Siamese mix, and she's about 5 years old, which makes her technically a senior, but she doesn't have any real medical issues going on with her. At this point, because a cat can live between 10 and 20 years, she still has a ton of life left to live. I can hear her purring now. She's getting kind of acclimated, and she's showing Tammy where she wants to be rubbed and rolling around, and she's just a really sweet girl. Unfortunately, she was brought back for a reason why I would never bring a cat to a shelter, but because she scratches furniture. So when you have a pet, any pet, you have to assume that things in your home aren't going to be perfect all the time. You're going to have cat hair and dog hair and guinea pig or rabbit fur, whatever you have. You're going to have some little scratches. That's the same to be expected if you have children. Nothing is going to be perfect. When you're taking on a pet, you're taking on the fact that they might do some damage to your home. You wouldn't return your children for breaking something in your house. We want you to have a commitment to your pets in the same way that you would have a commitment to your children, because they are part of your family. So it says Agnes scratches furniture. That's something that's actually very easy to resolve, especially when there are so many other amazing qualities about Agnes. In addition to the fact that outwardly she's just beautiful, she's also got a beautiful, calm, relaxed personality. She's been with children of all ages. She's lived with dogs before. So it says that she also really enjoys playtime. So don't let the fact that a cat has scratched on some furniture in her past prevent you from making her part of your future. So our next guest is Jenkins, and he's 3 to 4 years old, and he's just a handsome black cat. He's got big green eyes. I am partial to black cats. I love them. I had black cats growing up. They're they're just amazing. They have the best personalities and they are so sweet. And you know, a lot of people are like, I don't really want a black cat because they're bad luck or this and that, and there's nothing that makes them stand out. Their personality is really what makes them stand out. But even if you stack all the black cats up that we have, you put them all in a row, you can tell them apart. They do have differences in their face shape, in their eye color, in their size. So they definitely have things that make them unique. And as far as being a symbol of bad luck, that's really only in this country. In other countries, they're actually symbols of good luck, good fortune, good things coming your way. So if you're looking to add a little bit of good luck to your life, you could do that for just $15.50 from now until October 31st. Where all of our cats that are 8 months old and older, and Jenkins would qualify for that, will go home for an adoption fee of $15.50. Because we have such a large population right now, we're trying to get as many of them as possible into forever homes, because we want that for them, obviously. But then when we have a little bit more space, that makes more space for the animals that are still remaining, so they can have bigger cages, and we can put more animals on the adoption floor because we have that space to put them out there. Jenkins is in good health. He's about 12 pounds. He's a bit of a longer cat, but he's relatively calm. He's color-coded as orange. He does have, you know, he will let you know when he's unhappy. So you have to be good at kind of reading cat body language, which is for any cat, so that you know what they're saying, so that they don't escalate to a bite or scratch. You just want to respect their space just as much as you want your space and your feelings respected as well. If you are interested in Jenkins, you can make the trip into Frederick County Animal Control. You can visit Jenkins or any of the animals on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 8, and on Saturdays from 10 to 4. The last pet we have for you today is Squeakers, and she is a 1-year-old brown tabby with white, and she is one of the more petite cats that we have. She's about 7 pounds. Compared to all the other ones that you've seen today, she's definitely the smallest, and she does still have that kind of kitten face to her, and a lot of people want a cat that's going to be a kitten forever, and she might be right up your alley if that's what you're looking for. She came to us previously owned, but we didn't have a profile from an owner or anything like that, so most of the information that we have about her we're learning as we go along. She is color-coded yellow, which means she's one of our shyer cats. When I pulled her out for the show today, she was kind of hanging out under her hammock in the back of her cage, but she was very accepting of me picking her up and putting her in her carrier. There weren't really any problems there, and she seems to have settled in quite nicely on Tammy's lap. She's content being petted and scratched and having a nice warm place to cuddle up on. So if you're looking for that kind of a cat, we do have lots of lap cats, calm, quiet cats right now on the adoption floor, and a lot of them are actually labeled with lap cat signs so that you can easily identify those if that's what you're looking for. Otherwise, just kind of follow our color coding system. But you do want to make sure that you are prepared to take things slow with any of our cats that are color-coded as yellow or shy, because they're going to need a little bit more time to warm up to new situations, new people. You don't want to necessarily be right in their face with loud noises and fast movements, things like that. So you just have to be a little bit more patient with them while they're adjusting to living in your home, because when you take them home, they are not going home. They are going to another new place. For most of the animals that live here, the shelter is their home, and this is where they feel safe. So you have to really be thoughtful and take that into consideration when you're going home with your new pet. Because Squeakers is a year old, she definitely qualifies for our Fall in Love promotion. So she would be adopted for that $15.50 fee if you were to adopt her between now and October 31st. We thank you for watching, and we hope that you'll tune in again next week when we introduce you to several more adoptable animals here at FCAC.